Welcome to aminacademy.com. Let us do life stories of scientists and that Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was an Italian painter, draftsman, sculptor, architect, and engineer. His genius, perhaps more than that of any other figure, epitomized the Renaissance humanist ideal. His Last Supper, that is a art, and Mona Lisa are among the most widely popular and influential painting of Renaissance. His notebooks reveal a spirit of scientific inquiry and mechanical inventiveness that were centuries ahead of their time. The unique fame that Leonardo enjoyed in his lifetime and that filtered by historical criticism has remained undimmed to the present day rests largely on his unlimited desire for knowledge, which guided all his thinking and behavior. He applied his creativity to every realm in which graphic representation is used. He was a painter, sculptor, architect, and engineer, but he went even beyond that. He used his superb intellect, unusual powers of observation, and mastery of art of drawings to study nature itself, a line of inquiry that allowed his dual pursuits of art and science to flourish. Anatomical studies and drawings. Leonardo's fascination with anatomical studies reveals a prevailing artistic interest of this time. In his own 1435 treatise Della Pittura, theorist Leon Battista Alberti urged painters to construct the human figures as it exists in nature, supported by the skeleton and musculature, and only then clothed in skin. The date of Leonardo's initial involvement with anatomical study is not known, nor can it be determined exactly when Leonardo began to perform dissections, but it might have been several years after he first moved to Milan. Leonardo's early anatomical studies dealt chiefly with the skeleton and muscles. Yet, even at the outset, he combined anatomical with physiological research. From observing the static structure of the body, Leonardo proceeded to study the role of individual parts of the body in mechanical activity. This led him finally to the study of the internal organs. Among them, he probed most deeply into the brain, heart, and lungs as the motors of the senses and of life. His findings from these studies were recorded in the famous anatomical drawings, which are among the most significant achievements of Renaissance science. The drawings are based on a connection between natural and abstract representation. He represented parts of the body in transparent layers that afford an insight into the organ by using sections in perspective, reproducing muscles as strings, indicating hidden part by dotted lines, and devising a hatching system. Although he kept his anatomical studies to himself, Leonardo did publish some of his observations on human proportions. Working with the mathematician Luca Pacioli, he considered the proportional theories of Vitruvius Man, the first century BCE Roman architect, as presented in his treatise. Leonardo envisaged the great picture chart of the human body he had produced through his anatomical drawings and Vitruvian man as a cosmographia del minor mondo, that is, cosmography of the microcosm. He believed the working of the human body to be an analogy and microcosm for the working of universe. Leonardo wrote, "Man has been called by the ancients a lesser world, and indeed the name is well applied, because as man is composed of earth, water, air, and fire, this body of the earth is similar." He compared the body, human skeleton, to rocks, supports of the earth, and the expansion of the lungs in breathing to the ebb and flow of the oceans. Mechanics and cosmology. According to Leonardo's observations, the study of mechanics with, with which he became quite familiar as an architect and engineer, also reflected the working of nature. Throughout his life, Leonardo was an inventine builder. He thoroughly understood the principles of mechanics of his time and contributed in many ways to advancing them. His two Madrid notebooks deal extensively with his theory of mechanics. The first was written in the 1490s, and the second was written between 1503 and 1505. The importance lay less in their description of specific mechanics or work tools than in their use of demonstration models to explain the basic mechanical principles and functions employed in building machinery. Leonardo was especially intrigued by problems of friction and resistance, and with each the mechanical elements he presented, such as screw threads, gears, hydraulic jacks, swiveling devices, and transmission gears, drawing took procedures over the written world. Leonardo as an artist scientist. In an era that often compared the process of divine creation to the activity of an artist, Leonardo reversed the analogy, using art as his own means and approximate the mysteries of creation, asserting that through the science of painting, the mind of the painter is transformed into a copy of the divine mind, since it operates freely in creating many kinds of animals, plants, fruits, landscapes, and countrysides, ruins, and awe-inspiring places. With this sense of the artist's high calling, Leonardo approached the vast realm of nature to probe its secrets. Now we'll discuss further about Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was born on 15th April 1452 near the Tuscan town of Vinci. The illegitimate son of the local lawyer, he was apprenticed to the sculptor and painter Andrea del Verrocchia in Florence in 1478, became an independent master. The fame of Da Vinci's surviving paintings has meant that he has been regarded primarily as an artist, but the thousands of surviving pages of his notebooks reveal the most eclectic and brilliant of minds. He wrote and drew on subjects including geology, anatomy, which he studied in order to paint the human form in more accuracy, flight, gravity, and optics, often fitting from subject to subject on a single page, and writing in left-handed mirror script. He invented the bicycle, airplane, helicopter, and parachute some 500 years ahead of their time. Some ideas. Look at this Da Vinci paintings. Very famous paintings is Mona Lisa, Vitruvian Man, and Last Supper. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.